So I studied successful people for 4 years of my life because I wanted to understand what they knew that I didn't. And what I found was that they all exhibited 9 traits that anyone could take on because I wanted to understand, like, what did they have that other people didn't have? And the truth is, like, there wasn't anything. Like, there wasn't a common thing that they all had that other people didn't have besides specific traits that anyone could exhibit. So in this video, I want to speak about what those traits are so that you can implement them in your life yourself. I want to speak about how to implement them and how I've been implementing them in my life and the results that I've seen. And also, I want to speak about the ways in which not to sabotage yourself, the things not to do in order to not make these things happen for yourself, because at some level we sabotage ourselves, because if you didn't, you would just have everything that you wanted, but you don't. Maybe you don't. I doubt someone that does will be watching this video. So let's just get into it. The first thing that I found was that they found what they love. And they found what they love through following what excited them the most. And like, this is difficult because you can't know what you love until you know what you don't love. And so you have to experiment and you have to do certain things. And I know that when you start doing certain things, it feels uncomfortable. When you feel like you've been doing something for 5 years, maybe, and now you're thinking, I don't want to do this anymore, or I want to change, like, I'm not happy with doing this anymore, but you're afraid to let go of that thing that you've been doing for so long because you don't know that the new thing that you're going to start is going to get you to where you want to be. You're afraid of failure, basically. But you have to experiment and you have to fail. Like, you can't know what you don't want, and you can't know what you do want until you know what you don't want, and you can't learn things unless you're willing to fail. Think about, like, a baby. When a baby starts walking, how many times do they fall down and they don't care? They don't say, oh, I'm just never going to try again. They just keep doing it because that is built within us. It's built within us to keep pushing forward and to keep growing and doing things that we want to do, that we see others doing, because when other people do it, it means that we can do it. They're not more special than us. They don't have things that we don't have. They might have different circumstances. Yes, they might came from money, for example, but it's not an excuse. Like, if you want the thing that you want bad enough, which is why it needs to excite you, you will do anything to get there. And so the second trait that I found was that after they found what they love, they did it every single day for as long as they could. If you don't have 20 minutes to dedicate to the things that you love and to your dreams, then you are too comfortable. And you're probably not managing your time right, because everyone has an extra 20 minutes. When I was in 2020, when I wanted to leave the job I was at because I was unhappy, I wanted to start my own thing, start my own business, I spent every second that I had, like every spare second that I had. I didn't have a daughter then. I have a daughter now. She's 2 years old. And so I have to balance my time well now. But I learned the traits back then when I had a job. I just spent every spare second I had figuring out what I had to do to start making my own money. So I woke up early. I studied. I looked at what other people were doing and I studied them. I studied digital marketing. I studied content creation. When I had breaks in between my work, lunch breaks, I would not spend that time just daddling around. I would spend that time studying. When I went home, I would spend that time studying. I stopped going out on the weekends. I stopped drinking. I stopped speaking to friends. And obviously, during 2020, it was lockdown. And so this was easier because I was forced to do it because I was at home. But like, I still did it because it meant a lot to me. And from that moment, I decided I never want to work in an office again. I'm going to figure out how to make this work for myself. And that's what I've been doing for 4 years. It took me 13 months before I had enough courage to quit the job that I had and hand in my resignation. Like, I still didn't feel ready, but I did it because I knew that if I didn't do it then, I would probably still be working a job right now. And so you have to find time to do the things that you love. You have to find time to experiment and to fail. You have to fail. You have to know what you don't want in order to know what you want. So where can you find time today to do what you want? And what's amazing is that we live in a day and age now where you can get access to almost anything for free. Like, if you look hard enough, if you don't, I believe you either have money or you have time. If you don't have money, you must have time, because what are you doing? If you have time, spend your time finding out where to get the information that you want to learn for free. You can look anywhere. You can follow people that you look up to. You can go into communities. There's so many free things online that you could learn almost anything. I truly believe this, online for free. If you have money, then why not just pay someone else that already has the success that you want, so that they can speed up your success and teach you everything that they know. The third thing that I found in all of these ultra successful people, successful businessmen and athletes and actors and just anyone to look up to, was that they didn't quit. They found what they love, they did it every day, and they didn't quit. If you don't quit anything, how can you fail? Think about it. The only times I've not got what I want is when I've quit. And because I put expectation on myself. I told myself I should have this thing already, because I see so many other people haven't. But you don't know what they went through. You don't know their past. You don't know how many years they've been doing that one thing. Someone could be sharpening their axe, basically, like preparing themselves for 5 years. And then when they start their business, for example, so say for example they work in a job, and for 5 years they were learning the skills and the beliefs and the traits that they needed to know in order to quit their job. And then they didn't, and they had massive success because they spent 5 years sharpening the axe. You don't know what someone else has done and gone through. And so don't compare yourself. This is why I don't actually go on social media. I only go on there to post, because when you go on there, all you're doing is comparing yourself. Unless you're learning from other people, why are you using social media? If you want to get to where you want to be great at what you do, there's no point in using social media, because social media just makes you feel inferior, at least from my experience. And so I stopped going on there. The only people that I follow are people that I can learn from. And I don't go on Instagram, I don't go on X, I don't go on TikTok. The only social media platform that I use is YouTube, because I think that is where you get the most value for your time from people that genuinely want to help you. And like I said, you can find almost anything for free. So those are the 3 traits. Find what you love, do it every day, don't quit. Those are the first 3. The next one is that one focus. And you don't have to have one focus for the rest of your life. Like, it's just for a season. Like, I'll give you an example for my life. I wanted to be a professional DJ and play on like stages, and like I wanted to do that. But I knew that I didn't want to do it solely. Like, I wanted to do it as a hobby. I didn't want it to be my sole income. And I became a DJ. Like, I taught myself how to DJ. I got signed to a record label 1 year later. I played at a festival in South Africa in the Garden Route. I started my own record label. And eventually when I found YouTube, which is what I love now, I found it 2 years ago. Exactly 2 years ago. I found YouTube and I told myself, I want to do YouTube forever. Like, this is the hardest thing I've ever done. And like, there's so much you can learn. And YouTube has infinite rewards. It's like, it's the best game you could play besides the game of life, because you learn so many things, and everything that you learn you can apply to everything in life. You learn about audience building, you learn about getting attention, you learn about keeping attention, you learn how to tell stories. YouTube is just the greatest game that exists, and if you can do it well, you make a lot of money. You make a lot of money, you get a lot of cool experiences, you make a lot of cool connections. It's just the best game that I've ever found, and the hardest thing I've ever found, which is why I fell in love. And so when I found that, I knew I had to give up music, like something inside of me. There was one day where I just woke up and I was sad for some reason, and I meditated to think, like, why am I feeling this way? And the thing that came up was that I had to give up music. And as soon as that came up, I didn't question it. I honored it, because I was willing to do whatever it took to make my dreams a reality. And if giving up music was what I had to do, I did it. And from that point, 2 years ago, in January 2022, or January 2023, a year and a half ago, I told myself I'll give up music. And I cried, because I actually made a YouTube video on it, because at the time I was making a video every day for 90 days. And if you're interested in seeing that video, I can maybe share the link with you. But I cried because it felt like a release, like I had to let something go that was a part of me, because I had been listening to that type of music and been in the industry for 12 years of that. I had all my friends from there, like my friends were my family, but I had to give it up because of what I wanted to achieve and because of everything that I had to know. Like, I had so much ignorance. There's a ignorance gap between where you are and where you want to be. You have to fill this gap in by learning things and taking action. And so, because I gave up music, I had no distractions. My sole focus was YouTube, and I just studied YouTube. I studied and I implemented, and I studied and I implemented. And so that was a season in my life. Now, for the first time this Monday, today's Thursday, this was the first time I felt like making music again. And it felt like it was right to start again. Because now I have the skills and the beliefs that I needed back then that I didn't have. Now I have it. Now I'm doing what I love. Now I work full time as a YouTube strategist, having my own clients. So that one intense focus is not going to be forever. It's just for a period in your life so that you can learn the things that you need to learn in order to play down the ignorance gap that you have from where you are to where you want to be. Because you have to become one of the best at what you do if you want to exceed. The fifth thing that I found was that they built great products. You have to have a great product. And anyone, like, think of any successful person, like any successful business person. Jeff Bezos from Amazon, Mark Zuckerberg from Facebook, Warren Buffett from Berkshire Hathaway. They all built great products. Alex Hormozi, his great products is his portfolio of companies that he owns and what he's able to do for them. He's able to make them make money for the rest of their lives. His great products are his YouTube videos. Mr. Beast, the largest creator on the platform, 300 million subs. He makes videos. His great products are his videos. So you have to build a great product, but you can't build a great product without having the experience of what it takes to succeed. Like, you have to have done the thing yourself, or you have to find a gap in the market, and you can only do that by finding what you love. Like, you need to you need to go through this list as it is, because this is the way that I found things. Find what you love, do it every day, don't quit, have intense focus for a period of time, and build a great product that serves the people that you want to serve. And if you don't know what your great product is, it's fine. Like, just go back to the first step and just keep doing things. Just keep experimenting. Like, learn what you need to learn and don't have any expectation about where your excitement leads you, because you never know when you're going to need it again. Like, you never know what you're learning right now is going to come up later in your life that you might need just because you follow your excitement. I'll give you an example. Steve Jobs, when he was in college, he dropped out and he started doing the courses that he wanted to do because he wasn't enjoying the courses that he signed up for. And he took a calligraphy class and he had no clue why he wanted to take it. He just took it because it was exciting to him. And he never put what he learned into practice until 10 years later when he started designing the Mac and he put fonts in the MacBook. And so he said that you can't connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect it looking back. And so you just have to follow what excites you and trust that where it leads you, it will all make sense. Even if it takes you 10 years to actually use the thing that you studied for, or the thing that excited you to do, maybe it takes you 10 years to use that skill in real life in practicality. So those are the 5 things so far. The 6th one is that they weren't afraid of responsibility and they weren't afraid of taking on responsibility. Think about in your life where you are not taking responsibility, where you're afraid to take responsibility, because business owners are some of the most responsible people in the world. They are responsible for other people's salaries. They're responsible for the success of the business, and they're willing to put themselves out on a limb so that they can succeed. And so you have to take responsibility. Taking responsibility is tied into wealth and wealth creation. If you're not willing to take responsibility and put your hand up, even when you didn't do anything wrong, for example, build great wealth. Because people that don't build great wealth are afraid of responsibility. There's nothing against people that work a job, but think about it. Because you work a job, you don't have as much responsibility as someone that's the CEO. And so you make less money than him. And so the person that takes on the most responsibility usually makes the most money. The seventh thing that I found was that they had a willingness to express who they were, and they weren't afraid to express themselves into the world. And this is a deep one because I struggled with this a lot. I struggled with expressing who I am because I had so many different interests. It felt like I was like 4 or 3 different people at the same time because I had music interests. I was interested in business. I was interested in content creation. I was interested in YouTube. I had so many different interests, and I didn't know how to bring it all together into me, how to package it all together into what I do. And what I found is like, I can't. I'm just going to express all those parts of me and just not have any expectation to where it leads and just follow what excites me, do what I love, and express myself. Like, this channel is just me expressing myself because this is what I want to do. Like, I'm not forced to do this. I have no list of videos that I'm like, oh, I need to make this video today. No, I just wake up and I don't even think about making a video. I just continue with my day and the inspiration will hit me. It'll be like, hey, record what you're doing right now, or hey, speak about this topic, and then I'll just set up my camera and do it. And so you have to be willing to express who you are and not willing to dumb yourself down, because when you express who you are, you automatically attract to you the people that are meant for you. Number 8 was that they were great storytellers, and stories are ingrained in us because when we were in tribes back in the day and came from cavemen, the way we remember things and the way that our brain remembers things is through stories. And so, if for example, one of the hunters went to go hunt and they come back and they tell a story about, hey, don't go to that tree or don't go to that rock because if you go there, there's a tiger there, or there's this orange thing that I don't know what it is, it's big, it will eat you. And so we had to remember that, hey, don't go to the rock, otherwise we die. And so our brains are ingrained for stories. Our brains remember stories as well. Think about times when you go to presentations. Do you remember what people say when they just read off the board? Most of the time, not. But when someone tells a story, you remember what they say. It makes it memorable to you. It makes it impressionable to you. And it actually makes you want to buy from them as well. And so the people that I look up to and people that I studied, they were great storytellers. And stories just change. Change makes us pay attention. So the most important thing in the world in terms of creating wealth, I think, is attention. The ability to get attention. And the way you get people's attention is by change. Because change signals two things to the brain. It signals danger, which means something's changing, you need to pay attention, like is this going to be threatening to me? Or it signals hope. Hope for something new. And so when change happens, our brains pay attention. And stories just change. It's you having a goal that you want to get to, but there's certain obstacles that are in front of you, and you have to overcome those obstacles. And you're changing your environment from where you are, you're changing who you are from where you are right now to where you want to be. And so stories just change. So just share your story. Just share what you've gone through, because I guarantee there's people that need to learn the things that you have learned, that you might feel is insignificant to you, but is valuable to them. It will help them. Because I truly believe we go through the things that we go through to help other people. We don't go through it for ourselves. Yes, we struggle, and yes, we go through all this pain, and it's horrible sometimes. But how much easier does that make that for someone else that is going through the same thing? You can tell them, hey, I went through that. This is how I overcame it. Then it makes their lives better. By making their lives better, it automatically makes everyone's lives around them better, because they show up as a better person. And when everyone does that, the world just becomes a better place. So the 8th thing is become a great storyteller and share your story online. Number 9 was that they learned to do more with less, and they used what they had. Because when you can do more with less, you will be able to do less and create more. That's deep. Think about it. The people, Jeff Bezos, I'm going to give him as an example again. Most of the billionaires started from nothing. And so because they were so frugal, and they used what they had, when their businesses blew up, they didn't sabotage themselves. They didn't go and buy a Lamborghini like Jeff Bezos was driving like his old Honda, and he was a billionaire basically. So they didn't sabotage themselves because they got into the habit of using what they had and doing more with less. And so like you don't need all the fancy stuff. You don't need all the fancy equipment. You just need your camera and a phone, and you just need to start. Like that's all you need. You have access to the internet if you're watching this video. You have a phone probably. You can start anything you want. And when you are able to do more with less, you will be rewarded, and you won't sabotage yourself, like I said, when the good comes. Like when you have so much money, you don't go and blow it all on a yacht. Instead, you invest it back into your business so that your business can keep growing until there's a point where you don't actually need to be in the business anymore. You can delegate everything, and then you can maybe start going crazy. So the 9th thing that I found was that they did more with less, and they used what they had. I'm going to give you 3 extra bonuses that I found. Number 10 was that they were patient. They were willing to put in the work. You have to be willing to work for at least like 5 years on your craft, because like I said, you have to become the best at what you do if you want to have exponential wealth. Like you need to become the best. You can't be mediocre. No one can be better than you. Because if someone's better than you, why would people continue to buy from you? Why should they choose you over someone else when someone else can do it better? Like, yes, you can make mediocre money, but if you want to make exponential money, hundreds of millions, you need to become the best at what you do. And the world needs to know it. And so you have to be patient. You have to be willing to put in the work. You have to be willing to suffer and go through pain to learn the skills, the beliefs, and the traits that you need to know to solve other people's problems. And it all comes down to solving problems, because when you solve problems, you create value. Value is created when pain is alleviated. And you alleviate people's pain by solving their problems. And so be patient with where you are. Be patient with what you're doing. Just because you see other people blowing up online doesn't mean it's your time. Doesn't mean it's supposed to happen quick. Don't have any expectation. Just be patient and bide your time. Like, your time will come. You just have to keep working and keep honing your craft. Keep becoming the best at what you do. And one day you're going to see it's going to all make sense, and everything's just going to be attracted to you, because you automatically have this aura about you, because you know that what you do is just the best. Number 11 was that they sacrificed instant gratification for delayed gratification. They were willing to put off having fun now so that they could have fun for the rest of their lives, and set up all their kids so that the kids could have fun for the rest of their lives. And so instead of watching Netflix, instead of drinking, instead of going out, they spent that time working on their craft and learning the things that they needed to know, getting the beliefs, getting the traits, getting the skills they needed to build their legacies. Number 12 is that they brought their ideas to life. So this ties into expression, willingness to express who you are, which is number 7. You have to bring your ideas to life. Like, you have your ideas for a reason. And the universe, I believe this, the universe is giving you those ideas because it wants to bring it into reality. If you don't act on it, someone else is just going to get the idea and they're going to do it. Because the universe wants to birth that idea. And so if you're not going to act on it, if you're not going to become the person that you need to become in order to make that thing a reality, your idea that you have in your head, the universe is just going to pass it on to someone else and you're going to have missed your opportunity. I'm not saying that to scare you, that it's not a negative thing. It just probably means it wasn't for you because you didn't act on it. And maybe it didn't excite you enough that you would act on it. Or maybe you had beliefs that were holding you back. And so bring your ideas to life to the best of your ability. And you'll see with all of this list, these 12 points that I gave, I'm going to try and do this with my channel, with this channel, and every single channel that I start. Because this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. I want to make videos. And I want to help other people in the best way I can with the experiences and skills that I have. Right now, I just want to help other people with YouTube and grow on YouTube, and that's what I do. And then maybe down the line, at the later stage, I'll do something else. Maybe like coaching, I don't know. I have no expectation and I have no attachment to how I will make money. I'm just following the things that excites me and sharing what I know, so that in the hopes that it will help you, so that you don't have to struggle as much as me, and it gives you a roadmap to get to where you want to be faster than it took me, because I've been doing this for 4 years now. And 4 years is a long time, especially if you're doing it every single day, like obsessed about it, obsession. There was a lot of things I had to unlearn, and a lot of time I had to make up for, because I worked a job until I was 26. So yeah, I hope this was valuable to you. I hope it helped you. And if you have any questions, or if you'd like me to make a video on anything, let me know in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Cheers.